Hello, children. I hope you're doing well. Really, this is just a video that I'm using to cover what normally we cover in a discussion. Kind of similar to the video I made over Sam and how Sam's depiction in Casablanca indicates cultural attitudes and views of minorities. Only this time we're going to look at Ilsa and how her character and her depiction helps reflect societal views of women in the 1940s. And again, normally these would be done as like kind of class discussions, but you know, there's kind of a pandemic right now, so we won't get to have those until next week. But oh well. So similar to Sam, we can utilize Ilsa and the way Ilsa is characterized and portrayed to develop an understanding of what 1940s America thought and how this culture viewed women and what the roles and traits of women generally were believed to be in this time period. And a number of people had already commented on Ilsa's character and said that they didn't really like a lot of these qualities that she was characterized with. Basically, Ilsa's generally described and characterized as being overly emotional and extremely dependent on men for pretty much everything. And a number of people even said in discussion or in Zoom calls already that they didn't like that characterization. They found her to be kind of annoying because of them. But these traits were common amongst film and just other forms of expression during this time period, because in general, that was the societal attitude towards women. Women were believed to be overly emotional, if not hysterical would be the term that would be used. And because of this, they were dependent on men to make all the major decisions for them. This is the belief. The society believed that women were dependent on men and really weren't capable of making major, serious decisions for themselves without men doing it for them. And we see that attitude reflected in Ilsa in Casablanca, where she is generally overly emotional. When it comes to like the more over the top moments or over the top things to say, most of the time it's Ilsa. Either she's involved in it or she's the one saying the line. The one that sticks out to me is like, "Is that cannon fire or my heart pounding?" Where it's like that's a bit much. It's a bit over the top, but whatever. The other thing that you see is Ilsa is also, and by her own choice, dependent on men to make her decisions for her. Again, she straight up tells Rick when she goes to get the letters of transit from his apartment that he has to think for her. He needs to think for them. So she is willingly surrendering her decision-making power to Rick, to this man. And even though she doesn't necessarily like the ultimate decision that he makes to basically that she needs to go away with Victor, she doesn't. Because the man that she told or entrusted to make her decisions for her told her to do it. So that is an aspect of the film that is not necessarily aged very well, although in the film's defense, Ilsa is a pretty well-developed character. She is given a degree of agency where even though she is dependent on Rick and Victor, she still will do things and take actions separate from them, ultimately to try and get what she wants. Like when she sneaks out of the hotel after Victor leaves to go to Rick's to try and get the letters of transit from him. So she will do things separate from them to try and get what she wants, but the overall end of the overall objective does relate back to her man. Also in defense of the film is I think the film does a fair job of portraying her sympathetically, or at least trying to give a sympathetic portrayal to someone who it does really seem to have fallen in love with two different people, and basically making it seem that she's not a bad person for this happening, and it wasn't her intention, but it has happened. It did happen, and she is having a difficult time dealing with and processing the fact that she does truly seem to love both Rick and Victor. So I think that even though the film is definitely a product of its time in the way it chooses to, and the way it depicts women, again, it doesn't completely view women as like second tier characters or second rate characters. Again, Ilsa is still a very well developed character, and is an interesting character to follow in this. Alrighty, so that's just some stuff I wanted to go over with you guys that we again would normally cover in a face-to-face discussion, but again, we're not here. But I do look forward to having you guys in person next week. So I will see you later.